I'm back with MMA Unhinged, and joining me today is Aspen Ladd. My apologies, Aspen. How are you?
I'm doing well. Thank you for having me.
No problem. Thank you. And yeah, thank you for taking the time. I guess we'll. It seems like yesterday you just had a fight, and now you have another one on June 16th. So how are you feeling, and how's fight camp so far?
Exciting. It's great with PFL because like I knew already when the next one was going to be, and there's no sitting on the shelf here. So that is fantastic. It's not something that I've been used to in my career so far. And as far as feeling, it's like regardless of when it's been, I never take a lot of time out of the gym. I don't really. I'm always training. It's my job. So it feels honestly fairly normal. It feels just like I'm getting ready for work. Nothing over the top.
Well, and I mean, with PFL, they have such a quick fight schedule. Is it kind of good in that aspect? I mean, after having maybe such a tight fight that you had before that didn't go your way, is it kind of bittersweet that you can kind of move forward quicker, and not like linger so much in your last fight?
Absolutely. So, like with other sports, for example, they get to play most weekends. They get to get over it really quick.
Hmm.
We don't have that. Usually, when you have an issue or a fight doesn't go your way, it doesn't go the way you want it to, you got to sit in your shit for a while. And there's no way to make it feel better except to go out and do it again. And so, having to wait less time for that, it's better.
And I mean, it wouldn't be the first time that a fighter, maybe outside of PFL, has fought so many times in a certain month span. But do you kind of like the quickness of the schedule that PFL comes out with?
I love it. I absolutely love it. It's like basically like a fight. I can't speak for everybody, but for me personally, you almost like you don't feel complete if you don't have a fight on the horizon because we train all the time. That's our job. But the purpose of our job is to go out and fight. So when you don't have something booked, it's almost like you're kind of adrift. So to have things booked constantly like that, it's a better feeling for me personally.
Awesome, awesome to hear. And now, I mean, you have a new opponent. And now let's talk about her, Karolina. I'm probably gonna say it wrong, Karolina Spoic. Obviously a little bit different than Olena Klinznick. Coming with a wrestling background, I mean, that's no stranger to you. Looking at this fight, I mean, do you feel like this could result in maybe like a more of a stand-up fight, or do you feel like maybe you're looking to make a statement against the less experienced opponent?
I honestly haven't looked into her too much yet. I watched a little bit, obviously, on the night where I was fighting, but I wasn't paying that much attention. And this is going to be one of those fights where we both have everything riding on it. So I hope she comes out to fight, but if not, we'll see.
And what is it that you and your team have done to prepare for this fight as we're just about a month out?
We are training for a 5 minute fight. My cardio is fantastic, always has been, and I work very hard at that. But I tend to be a slow starter, at least I can be. So for this format and coming back and trying to get as many points as possible, it's really treating it like, okay, we got 5 minutes to get it done.
And looking at that, obviously cardio is a huge strength of yours. Is that something that are you looking to push the pace the entire fight, or like what kind of approach are you looking from right from the bell starting to the end?
Absolutely. My plan is to push it the entire time.
And I'll just move forward. Are you like I guess like you're obviously focused on this fight, but how would that $1 million sound? I mean, I guess that would be amazing. I mean, and I guess also how would you spend that kind of money?
That sounds like paying off my house. Yeah, no, that would be amazing, but I can't hyper fixate on the money.
Of course, of course. And another thing that just got announced recently is Francis Ngannou. He just signed with the PFL. I mean, that's a huge deal that he made. I mean, a lot of people. I think I even saw something that you had commented on that. What's your thoughts on that? And do you kind of see more fighters kind of out post UFC doing a lot more of those deals with the PFL?
So I think it's fantastic for the sport. And Francis, I've been around him, and he's a very nice human being. Like, he actually, like, the MMA fan base, the MMA world in general, can be very not the nicest, and just it's awful. But he's a very genuine human being, and just look at what he asked for. Like, nobody ever has asked for like the well-being of their opponent, which is what this man did. It's very, very striking in that way. And he's bringing in a whole new fan base. Like, he's basically a god in Africa. So, and they're expanding that way. It's amazing. But I think somebody like Francis, who is a fighter and speaks for the fighters, and not only that, like, he's been saying this for a long time, he stuck to his guns, and he got that kind of deal. It's nothing but positive for us.
And I guess for yourself, I mean, is that something that the PFL has allowed you to do? Whether you want to do like outside tournaments, things like that? Have they talked to you about that?
I haven't discussed it personally with them, and I don't know how they would feel about that. I suspect they'd be much more open-minded than where I've been in the past, but that wasn't part of my deal coming in. I was just completely focused on the tournament and everything with the PFL itself. But if I was to ever ask for something like that in the future, who knows?
And speaking about you signing with the PFL, um, uh, before you made any kind of decision, what was it about PFL that appealed to you so much?
In the initial meetings, they treated me like a human being, not just like an asset. So speaking to somebody person to person like that, that's the first thing. It's like, all right, this is kind of cool. And then speaking about the tournament format, the opportunity to fight a bunch more, and obviously the weight class. So it's just a multitude of things that added up to where I had the best feeling going for this organization, and I have no regrets so far at all.
And I mean, looking at yourself, I mean, we just talked about Francis Ngannou. I know a couple other ex UFC fighters have just been added to that roster in the last year or so. I mean, what do you think that's the message sending to the UFC? I know I'm putting you on the spot here.
No, that's fine. There's kind of been a monopoly on the sport since the dawn of time, because UFC they've been around the longest, they've done the most, and everybody else is new. They're coming up. Well, some of them aren't so new, but at least in the American market. But there's no competition. There's no this or that. It's like it's only been them. To have multiple opportunities and multiple premier organizations is something that every fighter should be excited about. Like, the more opportunities you have, the better. I've fought for both of them. They both have things where they could be amazing. But I am the happiest right now that I've ever been as far as my career goes.
Well, that's great to hear, and I know, and it looks like you're really into it with this new promotion. This is something I wanted to ask prior, according to the fight. With the PFL, obviously, you get scored upon obviously your win, but also with the finishes as well. On a personal level, do you find any pressure from that, and do you think that the promotion has done that way to influence the fighters to put on the performances that they should?
I think so. I think they do it to kind of light a fire and try to get people to engage more. That's what makes sense to me. The reason people watch MMA is we all want to see a finish. We want to see basically something brutal. And the point system is a way to elicit more brutality sooner.
And for you, is there any pressure on you going into each fight inside the PFL?
Always. But I've felt that way my entire career, regardless of when I'm fighting. Every fight is a ton of pressure. It's really just figuring out how to deal with that and move forward.
And previously, you spoke about you're always training, you're always in the gym. Obviously, there's only so much time between each fight, obviously, in the PFL. But is there something that you might like to do after this fight? Would you take a couple days to do something for yourself or for your family?
It I kind of see like a fight as like end of the world. I don't really plan anything after. Like, I get to that day, we handle business, and then we think about after. So I haven't considered that yet. Nothing really matters to me beyond this.
And I just want to say thank you again for your time. I know they only give us like 15 minutes. So, again, Aspen, I want to thank you for your time. I apologize about the beginning. I don't know what happened, but I'm glad that we were able to do this. And um, MMA Unhinged would love to have you back on every time. So, don't be a stranger.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, I'm glad to be here, and it's not a problem whatsoever. For whatever reason, I've had every time somebody has StreamYard, there's some kind of issue, but it's all good.
Well, again, hopefully next time we'll get that figured out. And good luck with your fight on June 16th.
Thank you. Have a good one.
Thank you.